Hello there. I am out in the morning for once. It's a Sunday morning, a little before 11 a.m. I think. It is 10:45. Yeah, I got started about 30 minutes ago, and I'm outside the Grand Hyatt Hotel. I'm here on Sowol Street, and right across from me here, this is the Namsan Park. Specifically, this section is the Namsan Botanical Garden. And I've showed you that garden and part of the street here in a video before. I came out here on a heavy snow day and filmed a little bit. And the reason I'm out here today is because I'm going to take you to 5 of my favorite dongasu restaurants. And that's the pork cutlet, right? The deep fried pork cutlets. I love dongasu, and these are the 5 restaurants that I typically go to these days. So it's a hazy day today because of the rain. We've had sporadic rain in the past week. It rained a little bit last night, and it's supposed to rain more in the coming week. We're supposed to be in the middle of the monsoon season right now, but it doesn't feel like it. The great thing is these 5 restaurants I'm going to, 4 of them are in the same general area, and the 5th one is farther off, but I can do a loop from my house. I can do a loop to all 5 of them. And that makes for a great way to get my 10,000 steps in. I expect it's going to be well more than 10,000 steps by the end. We'll see how that turns out. So today we're just going to visit the one, and I'm going to walk past the others and hand you off to my past self to show you what they have. But we're visiting 3 Korean style dongasu restaurants and 2 Japanese style. So I've heard many times over the years that dongasu came to Korea via Japan, originating from Europe. Specifically from schnitzel, like the German schnitzel or Austrian schnitzel. And of course, in preparation for this video, I wanted to find out if that's true. Eventually, I stumbled on a couple of articles in Korean. They talked about how it wasn't based on schnitzel. It was derived from the UK's cutlet. There's this story, and again, I don't know how true this is, that when the katsu first came to Japan, it became pretty popular. And there was a cook in a restaurant who was so tired of frying up all these different pork cutlets during the lunch rush that he decided to get innovative and did a tempura style frying of the cutlets, so he could do several of them at once. So he started breading them, and in a way like tempura, Japanese tempura, and frying multiple cutlets at one time in the deep fryer, I guess, or however they do it. And so that's how the katsu first developed in Japan. And then during the Japanese occupation, it came to Korea. So that's the only thing I can be certain about, is that it came to Korea through Japan during the occupation. And I've read that the oldest reference in Japan to katsu was on a menu from 1899. So that's pretty interesting. But whatever the true story is, I'm glad it's here. Over the years, the Korean dongasu in Korea and dongasu in Japan diverged. And today, the Japanese style is thicker, juicier. You don't put the sauce on top, you dip it. And often you use a kind of a spicy mustard that you mix with the sauce. Korean dongasu is much thinner. It's supposedly the way that it was originally served back in the early days when it first came here. So it's much thinner, it's usually wider. The Japanese dongasu is served sliced. Korean style is not. You have to, they usually give you a fork and a knife for you to cut it, It's one of the few kinds of Korean restaurants that give you forks and knives right off the bat. The sauce in Korean restaurants, I think, well, it varies. It can be sweet. Sometimes it tastes a little bit like some kind of a cheap American barbecue sauce, but sometimes not. The Japanese sauce, again, it can vary, but it tends to be tangier, saltier, more like a Worcestershire sauce. So yeah, there are several differences like that between them. And one thing they have in common though, all the Dongatsu restaurants, they will serve you shredded cabbage salad. And I haven't seen a lot of consistency these days in the type of salad dressing. Years ago, a lot of the Korean style restaurants, they would just give you ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together and that was your dressing. A lot of chicken restaurants used to do that too. But these days I'm finding all kinds of different stuff, and actually the three Korean style restaurants we'll be visiting in this video, only one of them does the mayonnaise and ketchup thing. That's the first one we're visiting. The other two, they have a kind of a yogurt based thing. The Japanese style restaurants, they usually have some kind of, special dressing. One of the ones we're visiting today or in this video, has a peanut salad dressing. The other one has a black sesame salad dressing. Both very good. Now, enough talking about the dongas. It's time to take a look at it. And the first restaurant is right here, and it's simply named Namsan Dongas. All right, now this place has been here for a long time, and 감사합니다. And what I love about it is every time I come in here, I order, I sit down, and my food comes out almost immediately. I mean, I just sat down less than a minute ago, and my food is already here. So it's a good thing I was set up already with the camera and everything before I came in. Now, this place is popular with people on weekends especially, and a lot of people will drive up here just to eat at this place. Taxi drivers stop here a lot. You've had several famous people come in over the years. They've got the wall of autographs over there going back several years, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Now let's get to the good stuff. All right, here we go. This is the dongas, and you see how wide it is and how they've got the sauce on top, and that's the Korean style. It's thin, wide, sauce on the top. Another thing I don't think I mentioned earlier about the Korean style and Japanese style. Korean style, they give you cream soup. Japanese style, they give you a broth. And the cream soup, normally you want to put pepper on it. Well, if you like it that way, I do. So I'm going to put pepper on my cream soup. Some places serve it with the pepper on it. Most places don't these days. And now they also give you some sides, and the sides are here at the table, and that's also pretty standard these days at the Korean style restaurants. They have the sides already in a dish like this, and you've got to scoop them out. And this is, what do they call it? Gattugi kimchi, the diced radish kimchi. And then you have these peppers, and this is kind of common at these kinds of dongas restaurants. They give you the green peppers, and they can be spicy at some places, but this place isn't typically spicy. And when you eat the peppers, you have the doenjang, or samjang maybe it is, but it's bean paste, red bean paste. So we have this little bit of rice, there's the salad, this is the ketchup and mustard dressing, a little bit of corn. And the dongas here is very thin, very thin. And the breading's flaky, but it's going to get soggy from the dressing, from the sauce. Now there's just a hint of black pepper in it, and it's just a little bit chewy. You know, it's not tough, but it's not tender. It's a little bit chewy, but it's good. It's really good. Kind of chewy and crumbly at the same time, and a little bit greasy. Not too greasy, but a little bit greasy. The Korean style dongas tends to be greasier than the Japanese style. So that's something to keep in mind. Some places are greasier than others. I'm gonna go ahead and try one of these peppers. And I know it's not gonna be spicy, I'm pretty sure, but. Now, like I said, sometimes you can get a little bit of spice in the pepper. Sometimes you'll bite into one, it'll make your eyes water, but most of the time, places like this, they don't give you the spicy peppers. All right, so that's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, and I'll see you back outside, and we'll move on to the next place. I should mention, I don't think I did earlier, most of the dongas restaurants, not only do they offer the dongas, which is the pork, but they also offer 생선가스, which is fish. And this style of restaurant, they'll usually give you the option for a half-half also, which is pork and fish. And some of the Japanese style dongas restaurants will offer also like a chicken guts, which is the, you know, chicken cutlet, and maybe a cordon bleu or something like that. So, you know, there's often a lot of different stuff on the menu. This place, in addition to the dongas and the 생선가스, they also had sundubu and maybe kimchi jjigae, I think. But anyway, I'll link the menus on in the description below. We're coming to the little Namsan dongas town, and this is where you have several dongas restaurants. You've got one right here, you've got one right there on the first floor. On the second floor, there's Sorongtang and Naengmyeon, cold noodles. My wife and I have been to maybe 3 or 4 of these restaurants, and the one I'm taking you to next is the one we like best, and it's right down here on the end. It says Namsan Wang Dongas, Wanjo Namsan Wang Dongas, since 1977. Now, Wang means king-sized, and I don't think the other restaurant had Wang in the name, but it's also pretty much a king-sized dongas, for sure. I didn't expect them to be busy yet, but yeah, all but one table is full right now because that one table is empty, is reserved. So I don't want to spend too much time. I want to, you know, go ahead and eat my food and get out of here so they can have the table. But it came out pretty quickly after I ordered and before I got everything all set up. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And this place doesn't have the dishes, the silverware in a drawer. They have them here on the table, right over here. And this is the doenjang for the peppers. And here's the gakdugi kimchi, the radish kimchi. So I will go ahead and get all of that set up right now. All right, and the doenjang and pepper for the cream soup. I like pepper, so I pretty much always throw the pepper in the cream soup. Now this is very shallow. They don't give you a lot of soup here. Yeah, that's just the standard cream soup. I don't know if they make it here or not. Now you can't see it because it's in the sauce, but they do have corn on the plate. So it's pretty much, you know, everything looks pretty much the same as it does at the first place we went to. But notice that the size of the dongas, I think it looks a little bit smaller. It's because it's not as flat, and the meat has more texture to it. And I don't know, I taste a little bit of, like, you know, black pepper. I don't know if it's in the sauce or in the breading, but I can taste it there. But the meat at the other place is a little bit, you know, almost chewy, but the meat here is just very soft. Well, the sauce is sweet, actually, a little sweet. Tastes like it almost tastes like an American barbecue sauce. Almost. A little bit of a tomato taste to it. You know, I've never actually sat and thought about what the sauce tastes like or what the consistency of the meat is or anything in any of these places. I just always come in and eat them because I've never had to explain them to anybody before. But yeah, the stuff is great. So I'm going to go ahead and eat this, and then we'll get back to the future me. All right, now today is a Sunday, and it is, what time? 12:30. So in the past, this place and a lot of the places up here, it would get very, very, very crowded on Sundays. People bring their kids up here, you know, the family outing kind of thing. Couples come up here on dates, people drive here, people walk here, just from all over the city. And so this little area has long been popular for dongas. I don't know if it still is. I don't get up this way on Sundays so much anymore. It's quiet right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. It might be busy later on. Well, now that we've come out of there, here is a cool little street to take us down toward Myeongdong, because our next two stops are in Myeongdong, which, yes, is a touristy place. And yes, the restaurants there are a little pricier, but gosh, they are so good, these two dongas restaurants I'm about to take you to. So these days there are several little guest houses in this area close to Myeongdong. And so the alleyways and the buildings, they've gotten a little colorful compared to how they used to look. But you know, this thing here, it looks great. But the fact that it's past tense, my happy time was always with you, makes it sound a little more depressing than I think it's intended to be.
Ain't what it seems. Gotta be a way we can stay here till tomorrow. Try, don't just stand asking why. Gotta be a way or a day we can call tomorrow. Living in a hole like a mole on the door, only one way to be. Living on a pill in a house on a hill is another way. Learning to survive, stay alive, 9 to 5's only one way to be. Getting rich quick by a really clever trick is another way, yeah, but not for me. Try, don't just stand asking why. Gotta be a way we can stay here till tomorrow. Dreams, life just just ain't what it seems. Gotta be a way or a day we can call tomorrow.
The next restaurant and the one after that, they are both on this street. One is right over here and one is right over here. We're gonna go to this one first. This is another Korean style place, but it's a little different from the other two that we just went to. But this one is called Myeongdong Namsan Wang Dongas, another Namsan Wang Dongas, king-sized Dongas. This is it right here. Look at that, they're pretty full right now. Okay, so at this place, they give you the nice radish kimchi here. It's at the table already. Your silverware is here. And they give you a nice bowl of cream soup. And we've got the pepper right here. All right, so my soup is peppered. I'll mix it up a little bit. Now, sometimes some of these places, the cream soup might have a hint of peanuts, and that's what this place does. That they a little bit of a peanutty taste in their cream soup. So I'm gonna munch on the kimchi until the dongas comes out. Oh, came up pretty quickly. It's already here. So, you know, I always forget. It's been a little while since I've eaten here. I've been eating at the one next door a lot more often lately when I come this way. And it's been a while since I've actually eaten in this restaurant. When I do come by here, I always get it to go, and they cut the dongas up and they package it. So I haven't seen the whole thing in a long time, but yeah, when you think about Wang dongas, king-sized dongas, this is it. Look at this thing. Look at this. That is huge. Yeah. I always forget that. And notice this place, there goes my napkin, got a fan blowing. Notice this place doesn't give you corn. They give you macaroni salad and just a little dollop of rice. And the meat is just a little bit chewy, but not tough. So I love this place. Now, the one thing though, because it's so big, it's very filling. And it's also, this place is a little bit greasy compared to the other places we've seen. So if you don't like the greasy meat, then you're not gonna like this place too much, I think. But I love this place. And I will tell you, you know, they have like the cheese dongas and the sweet potato dongas, the goguma, where you've got cheese in the middle or sweet potatoes in the middle. And if you get those, prepare to be stuffed. I mean, this by itself is going to stuff you. I can't even finish the cheese dongas or the sweet potato dongas anymore. I don't eat as much as I used to. So yeah, be prepared to be full if you come here. Oh, yeah, but it's good. It's very good. All right, and so the fourth place we're going to is just right up the street, not far at all. It's called Myeongdong Dongas. And this one is Japanese style. This one is really, really Japanese style. It doesn't look like it so much on the outside, but when you get inside, oh my goodness. If you're alone or you're a couple, you'll sit at the bar. But if you're a group, they'll have you go upstairs. They've got tables up there, but sitting at the bar, you can see where they are cooking the dongas. All right, so this place is the Japanese style, and I got the hiregasu, which is the tenderloin. And oh my God, it's good. This place is really good. So there it is. And you know, you see you've got the cabbage salad here, and here's the dongas, and we've got the damuji, the pickled radish, sweet pickled radish, and they also give a bit of mustard. So what you do here is you take the salad dressing and just Now, I love to drown my cabbage in salad dressing. And your sauce, you know, you can put it on top if you want to, but Japanese style, you're gonna put it on the plate and dip. And again, if you want to, you can mix the mustard and the sauce here like that. I don't typically do that because I like to keep the tastes separate. If you mix it up, I think the mustard drowns out the taste, the flavor of the sauce. And you've got the broth here instead of the cream soup like you have at the other places, the Korean style places. And then again, just a little bit of rice, not so much. Dongasu restaurants don't give you a lot of rice. Now, see how they've cut it up for you. This isn't like the Korean style dongasu. The Korean style, you know, it's much thinner and you've got to cut it yourself. But the Japanese style, they cut it for you and it's much thicker. Right? And then you just dip it and away you go. And the sauce is very tangy. It's like a Worcestershire sauce, I guess, but it's not sweet at all. And what I like about the dressing here, compared to the Korean style places, it's a peanut dressing. I like peanuts. But anyway, yeah, if you have a peanut allergy, you're probably not going to want to eat this. And the meat is very, very tender and juicy. And the breading is crispy. You know, the Korean style places, when you put the sauce on top, the breading gets very, very soggy. But here, it's very crispy. And the meat is not greasy at all. So yeah, it's a very different style of dongasu compared to what the Korean restaurants serve, the Korean style. So I'm going to enjoy it right now, and I'll talk to you on the other side. Oh man, I've been trying to talk to you since I left that restaurant over there, and there's just so much music all around me. Over here, we had Dancing Queen, and then one of the Taylor Swift song, and then an old 80s British new wave rock song coming out of another place. It's just one after another. Goodness. All right, so we have escaped the music and we're outside Myeongdong Cathedral, and there's a little market set up out here. I don't know if this is a regular thing or not. I'm not usually out here on Sundays. So, especially not at this time of day. But anyway, yeah, so we're gonna leave Myeongdong now and head over toward the final dongasu restaurant, another Japanese style place, but slightly different from this one. And to get there, we've got a bit of a walk ahead of us. So it's gonna be a long one for me. Gonna be a very short one for you.
Living in a hole like a mole on the door's only one way to be. Living on a pill in a house on a hill is another way. Learning to survive, stay alive, 9 to 5's only one way to be. Getting rich quick by a really clever trick is another way, yeah, but not for me. Like a mole on the door's only one way to be. Living on a pill in a house on a hill is another way. Learning to survive, stay alive, 9 to 5's only one way to be. Getting rich quick by a really clever trick is another way, yeah, but not for me.
All right, we are getting close now to the final restaurant. And I guess there's one more thing I should say about Dongas, and that is that, you know, these restaurants that we've been going to, they're all just normal restaurants. There's nothing special, nothing fancy about them. One of them just happens to look more Japanese than Korean. But other than that, they're just normal restaurants. So the ones in Myeongdong are a little pricier than the rest of them. But the thing is now, the Dongas didn't used to be a cheap thing, I guess. For a while, it was a little bit of a pricier thing in Korea, and it was typically served at a restaurant. It's part of a category of food that they referred to as Gyeongnyangshik. And Gyeongnyangshik just means basically Western food, but that's, you know, been adapted to Korea. And so these Gyeongnyangshik restaurants, from what I've read, some of them were pretty fancy and pricey. And, you know, they had all these waiters and to give you full course meals and all that. Now, when I first came to Korea, there were some places that I think kind of fell into this category that I saw, but I mean, they weren't fancy. You know, they tried to be fancy. They had some cheap, fancy decor, and they had names that evoked European towns or sites or whatever, you know, like Eiffel Tower Restaurant. And the word restaurant, they don't end it with a t, like English, like restaurant. If they adapted that into Korean, it would be restaurant. But they don't, these places didn't have that. It was restaurant, you know, like I guess the French pronunciation had a little ng on the end of it. And yeah, so these places, they had, you know, the pork cutlets and the fish cutlets. They had Hamburg steak. A lot of them would usually have a platter that they called the special. So if the name of the restaurant was, you know, Eiffel Tower Restaurant, then they would have the Eiffel Tower Special, which was dongas and the singsongas, the fish, and the Hamburg steak all together. They often served something called hai rice, which was rice with a kind of a beef gravy that came in a sauce. What do they call those things? I can't think of them. You know, look like a little genie lamp. Yeah, losing my English here. Yeah, and then they would have omu rice, which is basically just rice with an omelet on top of it. And by omelet, I don't mean stuffed omelet. I just mean, you know, whipped eggs, whipped and fried. But yeah, those restaurants, I don't see them around anymore. And they had waiters, but they didn't have full course meals as I remember, and they weren't really expensive in my memory. Anyway, yeah, those kinds of restaurants are all gone. And I don't think I mentioned earlier that at the Japanese restaurant that we went to in Myeongdong Dongas, they have, well, all the Japanese restaurants, when you get the thick dongas at the Japanese restaurants, you get to choose the cut of meat you want. You can get tenderloin or sirloin. And the Japanese restaurants, they typically use the Japanese words for it, which is like hiregas for the tenderloin and rosgas for the sirloin. And so what I had, the tender, juicy one, is the tenderloin, the hiregas, at the Myeongdong restaurant. Now, this one we're going to now, they don't use the Japanese terms. They use some Korean terms, which is anshim for the tenderloin and dungshim for the sirloin. And they also use those words for like steak, right? So this restaurant I'm taking you to now is called Haigatsu, and it's really good. I eat here a lot because I don't live far away, right? And I'm in delivery distance. Now, here we go. Haigatsu. All right, so the food is out, and I've got my sauce on my salad. This is black sesame dressing. I've got my broth, because this is a Japanese style restaurant and not the old style Korean one. And the sauce here is for dipping, right? They don't put it on top because, again, this is Japanese style. And we have the spicy yellow mustard here, and the salad, and also the macaroni salad here. And as usual, we have chopsticks in the side table, and they do give you chopsticks here, again, Japanese style. Yeah, I like to give you the soup in the cups like this now. They didn't used to do that. Yeah. So Yeah, this is the tenderloin, the anshim, and yeah, look at that. Big, thick, juicy. Very tender. Very tender, very soft. And the breading is very crispy. Yeah, I love this. Also, there's just a hint of black pepper. So, yeah, on any given day of the week, if you ask me what my favorite dongasu restaurant is, I'll probably give you a different answer. If you ask me 5 different times, you'll get 5 different answers. But I think most of the time, it's probably going to be Haigas here because I eat this very often. They're close enough to my house that I can order and it'll get there pretty quickly. So I do often eat the sengsan here, the fish. But when I do get the dongasu here, it's the anshim. I don't think I've ever had their dungshim. Not sure if I have or not. And I may have had their cheese dongasu at one point. Because I do like cheese dongasu. But anyway, yeah, this place is great. And if you're in the area around Yakusu Station, this is well worth a visit. All right, so I hope you enjoyed visiting 5 of my favorite dongasu restaurants here in Seoul. If you are in Seoul for a visit or for a long-term stay and you want to check these places out, I can highly recommend them. Obviously, they're my favorites. However, don't feel compelled to go out of your way to get to these places because there are really good dongasu restaurants all around the city. I sometimes randomly pop into a dongasu restaurant if I happen to be hungry and I find one in the area where I'm hungry. So rarely do I find a place that is just bad, right? Most of them are at least decent. I do recommend staying away from like the little snack bars, the fast food snack bars that Korean students like to go to because the dongasu in those places tend to be the frozen variety. And you know, it's probably better today than what it used to be. But I don't prefer that at all. I will leave links to all of these places, to their websites if they have one, but definitely to Naver Maps. I don't know if they're on Google Maps or not. Naver Maps is always up to date. So I'm gonna leave Naver Map links in the description so that you can find these places on your own. But anyway, thanks for coming along with me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Living in a hole like a mole on the door's only one way to be. Living on a pill in a house on a hill is another way. Learning to survive, stay alive, 9 to 5's only one way to be.